Hello, Sensei Cisco here for Cincy Martial Arts in today's basic and intermediate class. This is a continuation of Tuesday's lesson where we spoke on the Jo and some basic handling techniques. Today we're going to expand on that principle by speaking on using our body as a bouncing board, as well as how kinetic energy can create momentum and flow in spinning and changing of the hands. So we'll be going to go over a couple of techniques. Feel free, if you're watching this in the future, to jump ahead towards the about 4-minute mark, as that's when the lesson will begin. For those of you joining us live, I will do, as I always do, work to propagate the lobby by sharing on our social media. So if you'll bear with me just a moment, I'm going to bring my big dumb head in front of the screen as I try, or not try, but actually do, spread the word everywhere else. What? All right, sorry about that. Funny face. The Facebook just kicked me out. I was in the middle of sharing it, and I went to post and said, "No, I can't do that. It's never done that before." I think it may have just been a weird glitch because there's no reason that should have been a thing. These are outer to platform. What? How did object out of platform? No. Oh, that is a weird. I'm getting a weird error message right now, and I don't understand why. See if I can toss it in right here. Interesting. It allows me on that page, but not on my primary page. Very peculiar. Let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work, then we'll just go without. But no, again, it's still giving me that error. Okay. So it looks like that's just not going to be a thing today, but that's okay. Ultimately, if you're a student of ours, you should know these are here, and I hope you're able to join us. Now, going into today's lesson, we are at the 4-minute mark. So thank you guys for joining us. Let's start off by coming to attention. Let's go. All right. And we'll relax. Before we get started, I do have a couple announcements to make. First is I have heard back from you. In the past several days, about the past week or so, I've been getting a lot of feedback on these videos and the way they are shot. And apparently I am working a little fast for some people. Now, the reason for this, as a video content creator, I've never really done that too much before. In the past, I have shot a couple of videos that you've probably seen on our channel. Those have always been kind of one-shot lessons that take no more than 10 minutes or so. So that's why most of those videos last around 5 to 15 minutes, rather than the hour to 2-hour long classes that we're currently doing. In those videos, I can move pretty quick because you guys can replay them. But in shooting this, that is something I have not given complete credit to, that as you're watching it and trying to follow along with, you can't just replay this video. So it has been brought to my attention by our members, by our viewers, to slow it down a little bit and allow a little bit more repetition for that skill retention and things like that. So I'll try and keep that in mind as we shoot going in the future, so that there's a little more time for you guys to follow along and gain the knowledge and experience that the particular lesson in question is trying to drive home. That being said, in today's lesson with the Joe, we will be focusing on 3 specific techniques or sort of skills that will allow you to better manipulate your staff. Those will include using our body as a sort of bouncing board to spin and bring your staff around your body or off your body without having to literally trade hands, but rather having yourself act as the bounce board for your staff in its rotations. The next lesson will be on wrist manipulation, how we can get a good spin using the rowboat technique. This will allow us to give more effective figure eights and eventually going around the body for full body spins and turns. But the rowboat is our first step to loosen up the wrist and allow for that mobility. Then the last lesson will be on, if you drop your staff, without having to bend over, how can we flick it onto our foot and then right up into our hand. These 3 I find are essential for any manipulation, and those ones we'll be focusing on today. So that being said, why don't you go ahead and grab your staff, put it off to the side for now, as we want to warm up first, get our joints loosened, and just ready to move around and manipulate. So first things first, let's get our blood moving, get our bodies warmed up. Jumping jacks. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sichi, hachi, ku, ju, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sichi, hachi, ku, niji, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sichi, hachi, ku, sanji, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sichi, hachi, ku, nanji, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sichi, hachi, ku, roju, nai. All right, move into the arms. For our push-ups today, since we're working a lot with the staff, I want to keep your elbows in. So we're going to do a Pilates style, hugging your elbows to your ribs as we press. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, roko, sichi, hachi, ku, ju. Go ahead and lay back. Activate your core. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, roko, sichi, hachi, ku, ju. All right, and bounce it out. We're not going to worry about our legs so much today, as we won't be doing any kicks or stances to any severe degree. So we don't necessarily have to warm up our legs. We can move right into the joint rolls. Bring your neck around. Reverse. Go to hugs. Now, of course, since we're not really worrying about the legs today, this doesn't mean you can't do it on your own time. Switch chops. So after this, feel free to go into some leg work. Do some stretches, throw some kicks, roll. Do whatever you feel you need. Reverse. Elbows, sticking your elbows out to the sides, hands to your shoulders. Roll your hands over and under, keeping your elbows extended. So you're going to a straight reach and then a full bend. Reverse, drawing in on top to press underneath. Good. Let's go ahead and switch to our wrists. For this, you're going to take your thumbs, thumb up, dip them down the middle, up the middle, out to the outside, down and up, down and up. So you're going to make little figure eights with your thumbs. Keep your arms straight for this, so you're rolling your wrists. Then we'll reverse, lead with the pinkies. Elbows forward. You don't have to have straight arms. You can bend your elbows if you want. But the goal here is to have your wrists rolling, not your arms. Good. Pause. Roll the fingers. And shake it out. Shake the shoulders. All right. Now that these joints are loosened up, now we can get into our staff. So what we're doing from Tuesday, I want you to first find the center point of your staff. I use a little bit of tape here for a visual representation of that balance point. We should be able to hold it with 2 fingers on that point without it moving. If you're new to using a staff, I definitely recommend using a bit of tape or a Sharpie, something that you can mark it so you know that place. Never etch it in. That etch is going to create a rough surface that's just not going to feel good as you start rubbing up and down and spinning. It's just going to eat up your hand. So use something flat and non-abrasive. All right. Go ahead and hold it in your right hand. Now for the sake of this video, I will be doing mirror. This is some more feedback that I received in that I've been calling right hand when I'm using my right hand, but I understand if you're watching this video and you're looking at the screen, this is your right side. So I'm going to use a strategy called mirroring, which allows me to show on my opposite side. So right hand, left hand. I know I'm saying backwards, it's part of mirroring. All right. Right hand up, balancing with the 2 fingers. See if you hold it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bounce it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to the left hand, balance with 2 fingers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bounce it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. The next exercise, we're going to switch it over to your right hand, and we're going to do something called an elbow bounce. Again, this is all about understanding where the balance point of your staff is. So what we're going to do is have it roll back to our elbow, then kind of punch straight. This is going to throw your staff up in the air a little bit and try and catch it back in your hand. Should look like this. Roll in, bounce out. So you're going to pop it with your elbow towards your hand. This takes practice to get just right. So do the best you can. If it lands on the ground, that's fine. Pick it up, come back to us. We're going to do a couple extra reps on this because it's a little more complicated. So we're going to go 10 on one side, 10, back, 10, and 10. So starting with your right hand, rolling back, itch, and pop. Find the balance point, knee, sun, she, go, roko, sishi, hachi, ku, ju. Switch to your left hand, find that balance point, and let it roll. Itch, knee, sun, she, go, roko, sichi, hachi, ku, ju. All right. Back into the right. Another 10. Itch, knee, sun, she, go, roko, sichi, hachi, ku, ju. left side. Pitch. Knee. Sun. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. All right.
I'm sorry, I need to get in my purse.
Hello, Miss Megan.
Hi, guys.
We all work from home right now. All right, next up. Yeah, practice this, play with it. It's just about getting the feel for where that center point is. Now let's play a little bit on our spins. We want to get our wrists warmed up. So we're going to hold it in your right hand, palm down. We're going to flip it palm up to down. Pitch. Knee. Sun. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Left hand, palm down. Pitch. Knee, palm up, palm down. Sun. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. All right. Now, for our first bounce, what I'd like you to do is hold it in your left hand. And what you're going to do is place that left hand on your belly button. Now, keeping the staff on your body, I want you to roll the stick around your body until you can point to the side wall. Then we're going to roll it back to the center point, touching our belly button, switch to your right hand, and continue that roll. We're just going to go back and forth. Let it roll on your body, side to side. So the staff never leaves your hips, never leaves your torso. There's always going to be one point of contact between your belly and the stick itself. And just let it relax and flow here. Your balance point, where that black tape is on mine, should hit right where your belly button is. Now you can take this up higher, all the way to your solar plex even. But again, that tape is hitting the center point of my body, whether that be my belly button or coming up to my solar plex. I'm just letting it roll on my body here. Keep it relaxed. Keep it loose. If you drop, that's fine. That's going to happen. You're going to miss it, and it's going to go flying. But this is why it's important to have a clear space where it's not going to run into something and knock a picture off the wall or hit a lamp on a post. You want a nice clear space to move with. We also move easy so that there's not too much energy for when it goes flying, it doesn't put a hole in your wall. You probably heard mine hit the wall here a little bit, but it wasn't enough energy to puncture a hole. There's just a little scuff there that I'll wipe off after the lesson today. So keep it light, keep it loose. What we're looking to hear is feel that energy. As it comes around and we speed up a little bit, you'll start to feel it kind of push against you even. So the staff's kind of digging into your body just a little bit. This is what we call kinetic energy or momentum. Essentially, whenever we toss this and we bring it into our belly, this pull right here, here, is our muscles giving energy to the stick. That energy then continues the rotation around us. Now we can play with this by using it as a bounce board. Why don't you go ahead and drop your stick for a moment and find yourself a small ball. Now, for me, I have cat soap, I have cat toy. I'm just going to use a cat toy, and as a little experiment, now you can use a rolled up sock, a little foam bouncy ball, softball, any sort of small roundish object. Taking one hand, toss it from your left into your right, just back and forth. Keep your eye on it. It's kind of hard for me to look at the camera and do this at the same time, but this is your goal. As you're tossing, you'll find If you didn't toss it and you just let go, it falls. This is gravity pulling it down. In order for us to fight gravity and keep this in the air, we've got to give a little bit of energy through our wrist to toss it up. This is kinetic energy. We are creating or transferring energy from our body into this object to allow it to shift without the force of gravity taking it over too soon. Gravity is always going to be pulling on it. Gravity is a constant. It will never disappear fully, at least to my understanding of physics, with what level I know. If you've got a degree in physics and you can tell me otherwise, please comment. Let me know, because that'd be really cool. I think there's some stuff in the higher realms of like quantum physics and stuff like that where gravity gets funky. But that is another lesson. I digress. Let's keep this toss. Now, what we're going to do next, and how this is going to transfer into our staff, is I want you to use your chest as a bounce board now. Instead of just tossing to your hand, I want you to toss it into your chest so it bounces to the other hand. Bounce off yourself and catch it in the other hand. Toss and catch, toss and catch. Let it bounce in, bounce and catch, bounce and catch, bounce and catch. Good. Keep playing with it. And once you have a feel for this, what we're going to be doing is taking that same idea and now applying it to our staff. So once you get a good rhythm and you got that bounce, feel free to grab your staff. If you still want to play with it, feel free. There's no rush here. Because what we're going to do is using that balance point and pretend as though that is the ball you just had. We're going to take that and toss it into our stomach, kind of using our belly as that bounce board. Midpoint to the belly button, and have it bounce into the free hand. So I'm going to have my free hand off to one side, cut under for the bounce, and just let it fly in. Bounce to fly. Bounce to fly. So I'm not reaching across my body. I'm letting the stick come to me. Ooh. I gotta not look at the screen while I'm doing that sometimes. Now, thing about any sort of weapon work, you are going to hit yourself. Get used to it. That pain will pass. This is why we move slow. Multitasking also makes it exponentially harder. Just focus on your roll. If your grip comes a little short, you'll feel it. Don't bring your hand into the middle. My balance point's here, so my hand's gonna be a little off center now. Because the most important thing is that my center of balance for the staff is what's setting the center mass of me. Center to center. If I overshoot and grab, I'm gonna overshoot the reach. So that my balance point always has the same point of contact. All right. Let's keep playing with it. Now we're at the 20-minute mark. Now at this point, we're gonna step up a little bit. If you feel confident on these stomach bounces and you're able to catch it from one side to the other without coming all the way in and having your hands meet, meaning you're trusting yourself to get that grip, we can move on to the next section. The next section is going to be coming around the neck. Now to do this, what we want to do is we're going to keep the same horizontal motion, only now I'm going to bring it up high. So using our right hand, I'm going to cut this up towards my neck to hold it sideways behind my neck. And then bring it back down. We're just going to get to that point. Don't throw it, don't release it, just loop it up, horizontal, loop it down, up and down. Now my center point for this is where my grip is. So I'm using those two fingers we discussed on Tuesday, or in the last lesson, to maintain that grip. The other fingers are just loosely hanging. They're not creating any support or grip. because I'm not hitting anything. 2 fingers for flow, 5 fingers for power. Now the point I'm coming up, if I come a little bit closer, you'll see I'm almost putting my thumb on the side of my neck here. That way my staff can rub just like it was on my belly, touch my neck all the way around. So I'm actually kind of brushing my hair with the staff. This is key because just like our stomach acted like a bouncing board, now we're going to have our neck act as the bouncing board so that it can come around to the other side and we can catch it on this side of our neck. Do be aware of your surroundings because as this spins and you get to your grip, to finish your grip, it's going to be at the full length of your staff. Meaning if I swung here, I would hit a pot that's set right on the off screen. So we're not going to do the full swing. A full swing means you grab one end of your staff. Do you have full clearance, 360 degrees? There's a wall there for me. There's a wall there for me. There's a wall there for me. And there's the computer almost one full length away. Don't continue the spin. All we're going to look for today is coming around to my grip. Once I can grip it here, like a bazooka, we've got it. After that, it's just bringing it down. That's the easy part. So be mindful of your surroundings and cut up and down, cut up and down. To release, this is the hardest part. I'm going to release the right hand at the point it starts spinning around my neck. Not the point of contact, but here. Once it's past, that's when I'm going to let go with the left, the right. Drop my right hand down. The staff was going to swing freely on its own for about half a second till my left hand can catch here on top of my shoulder. Now, something to be aware of as you're doing this, your first couple times, don't be surprised if you cut down low like this and it starts swinging around under your shoulder here. If you come on the outside of your arm a lot, that means you're cutting here like you're sheathing a sword. Ha! Don't sheath your sword. Roll it flat on the neck. All right. Again, trust your flow. Bring it around and catch. My right hand lets go. Left hand catches right here near the cheek. Not on my cheek. So I'm not here. I'm out just a little bit, almost like a rear guard. Then bring it back down. Swing it around, catch on top of the shoulder. This is slightly more advanced. So if you're struggling with it, that's okay. It takes practice to get this flow down, to get the confidence and feeling for where it's going to end up. So long as you keep it horizontal and keep the staff in contact with your body, even my roll up, I'm keeping my hand on my chest here. Ow, ow, kitty cat, no. Cat hit my foot. And that dropped the stick on my foot. Cat, no, go away. I love you too. Other way, no, other way, other way, other way. No, no, go, 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 go. They think it's a giant toy. And I guess in some respects it is. But, ow. All right. We get over it and we continue. Yeah, just keep playing with it. Let it roll around your neck. Stay relaxed and calm. Shoulders down. and let it fly just a little bit. All right, that's about the halfway mark. What I like to do now is go ahead and take a break. At this point, if you'd like to review any of those other techniques, feel free to. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and break for water for just a moment. Get yourself a drink, limber up, relax. When we come back, we're going to talk about the rowboat. All right. I see Miss Steffi Lynn is here. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. I hope this is educational for you. Now, the staff is one of my favorite tools. I play with the staff, the nunchuck, a little bit on the sai, although I'm not too proficient. I never took to the sais too well. I like the tonfa. It's Gracie. Yes, hi Gracie. So I hope you have something at home that works well for you as a Joe. If you don't, please feel free to message me. We will be, once COVID ends, I know we were originally set up to do our quarterly gear order. Unfortunately, that's landing right in the middle of COVID, so we won't be doing any orders at the moment. But once all this passes, we will start collecting. So if you are interested in picking one up, just let me know. Either now or at that time, I'd be happy to add that to our order form and bring that in as part of our inventory. So, great tool. The reason why I like the Joe. It is one of the best tools to get the first impression of momentum, kinetic energy, and flow. Because when you mess up with the stick, it's gonna go flying. It's gonna get away from you. It's gonna hit you in the legs. It's gonna hit you upside the head. But it won't hit you in such a way that does a whole lot of damage. It's not gonna hurt you or put you in the hospital necessarily. This is not a blanket statement. There are definitely ways, as with any tool, you go to the hospital playing with a hammer. So it's not a perfectly safe tool, but comparatively to the nunchucks, if you hit yourself with a pair of nunchucks, that one's dangerous. That one is far easier for you to do serious damage to yourself comparatively to the staff. Same thing with the sai or even tonfa, although I do find the tonfa also to be on the safer route, although the tonfa doesn't have the flow that a staff gives us. Tonfa is if you're not familiar, it is a straight stick that has a small handle that shoots off from the side and really acts as an extension of your forearm. So the stick would lay here, extending out just a little bit with a side bit that your hand grips. Think of it like an old policeman's baton from like the 1950s. Those were, in essence, tonfas. But let's get back to work. So back to it with your staff. Let's bow in, right? And going into the next rotation. For this rotation, what we're looking for is essentially getting us geared up for this 180, or not 180, but 8-hit rotation. Now this looks more complicated than it really is. All we're really doing is rowing a boat. If you take your hand, in this case I'm going to use my right hand first, go ahead, turn your body to the side so that you can face your punch, your grip, towards the screen. Now here you should have in your right hand face the same direction as me, again, mirroring. And what I'm going to do is taking my thumb side, the side that my thumb is, I'm going to call the head. Pinky side, I'm going to call the tail. I'm going to worry more about the head. The tail will follow. And I'm going to take that head and sort of cut it down as though I'm scooping water, then scooping with the tail. Scoop with the head, scoop with the tail. Head, tail, head, tail. Let's start with some just little circles. Holding it out to the side and make little tiny circles, scooping just a little. We'll keep that roll. Your grip should be fairly loose on this. Again, only the thumb and one other finger really controlling it, the other one's acting support to kind of push it along in your rotation. If you're holding it real tight, you'll be able to get a little spin, but you won't be able to get to the large rotations that we're looking for down the road. So, loose grip so it can kind of roll in your hand. The wrist doesn't need to turn much. Then we're going to make it a bit bigger. So now our head is scooping in a larger circle. My hand is remaining in place. I'm not turning it over. I'm not spinning it around. I'm making a circle in front of my body. So if I turn my angle here, you'll kind of see how the head is just drawing a big zero. And like a rowboat, one at a time. Then we'll try and go a little bit bigger until you can get it all the way to that head comes up just in front of your belt. You want about 1 to 2 inches before it rolls out, and the tail comes about 1 or 2 inches from your tailbone. And this is where a loose grip and relaxed wrist allows our motion to roll. If we're tight and we're trying to grip it, this is all the range I'm getting. This is as close as I can get. But if I relax, it can come all the way in. The turn here is all with the wrist. And relax. Loosen your shoulder and switch to your left. Holding on your balance point, straight out to your side, starting with your thumbs, head side. Make a little dip down and in, up and out, scooping the water to let your rowboat swim. Now, if you're not sure how long to do this, usually 10 to 20 repetitions is good as a warm-up, or sing the song, the rowboat song. I know there's a name for that. What is row, row, row your boat? Is that the name of it? Just sing row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. I know I don't have a singing voice. I apologize. Go ahead and make it bigger. Keep it rolling. Keep it loose in your grip. A little bit bigger until you're able to bring it all the way around. Now there's a little flick on the wrist to create the energy you need here. So while your arm and your elbow can be straight, your wrist is turning. Your wrist is twisting around and around. Follow the staff. And relax. With practice, what you'll be able to do is start speeding this up. With speed, it's going to create more strength and flexibility to your wrist. But this is something that must be tapered. Don't try and go quick right off the bat. It's more important that you have nice form, getting it all the way in, just behind your tail, just in front of your belt knot, before you start speeding it up. Because that speed is going to put a lot of pressure on your shoulder and your forearm. Those muscles are going to engage a lot. So work on it slow, then begin increasing that speed with experience and proficiency. All right. Now, what does this do? What was the whole purpose behind the rowboat? Well, what we're really going to do with it is learn to roll and then turn the other way. So now that we've done our rowboat palm down, we're going to switch it to palm up. So let's switch back to our right hand and turn your palm up. So now the head is behind me. I'm going to do the same rowboat, digging the tail down and in, the head down and in. But now my hand is facing upwards rather than downwards. This is more comfortable. This takes practice. But this upward facing palm is just as important. Now to get to our big circle, let's start small. Of course, loosening it up, getting it warmed up, and then go to the big circle. For the big circle, you're going to find if I try and hold it, the head of my staff doesn't really go all the way back. So what I've got to do is really open up my 3 fingers so that only my index and thumb are holding, and then let it open out. So my palm is holding it like this. I've almost let go when it comes behind me. So what this will do, palm up, rowing the boat, making it bigger, is I can point my tail out. Head out, tail out, head out, tail out. And this allows me to now start swinging it behind my back. Go ahead, switch sides to the left hand. Palm up, little rowboat. Bring it a little bit bigger. Using just your thumb and forefinger as your grip point. Bring it all the way around. Now, to switch, because what we're going to do is switch from palm up to palm down. Let's come back to our right side. We're going to start palm down. Make as generous, as large as a circle as you can. This will give you more time to see and predict when the turn happens. The turn occurs after your head has come up. Once the head is coming up, I can cross it over the top, kind of like I'm drawing an X up into the air. So palm down, rowboat down, up, cross it over to my backside. And now if you look at your palm up. Take the head, down behind, up and over. Row in front, up and over. Row behind, up and over. Row in front, up and over. Row behind, up and over. Palm down, palm up. Palm down, palm up. And start this nice and slow. With time, you'll speed this up. And that's when you start getting into that really cool looking spin. But switch to your left, palm down, rowboat, bringing the head down to the floor, up to the sky, cross over the top, row behind, cross over the top, row in front, over, row back, over, row front, over, row back, over, row front, back, over, front, over, back, over, front, over. And just let it relax. We're looking to let it move, and we're just guiding that energy. I'm not pushing it, I'm not twisting it, I'm just redirecting that flow of energy. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, with time, you can start speeding it up, and speeding it up, and speeding it up. To get that really fast, cool stuff that you see in the movies. All right, go ahead and relax. And put your staff on the floor. Go ahead, shake it out. We're going to loosen our hands and wrists again. Making pause. Roll the fingers. Roll them back. Little circles with the wrists, up and down, side to side. Shake them off. All right. Now the last trick that we're going to look at today is, honestly, I think one of the most important and kind of vital ones that anybody working with staff should know, and that is how to pick it up with your foot. You can absolutely just walk over and pick it up, bend over, grab it, and lift. But what you're going to find early in your training is you're going to drop your stick a lot more than you're going to catch it. which means you're going to be bending over a lot, you're going to be squatting down a lot, and that can make your body tired. Whenever we're looking at picking up a new skill, we don't want to tire our body unnecessarily. Make sure anything you're doing is driving towards the purpose of your goal. So if we're looking at manipulating our staff, if we pick it up, well, let's learn a special way, a fun way to pick up our stick. To do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the camera here just a little bit so you can see my floor better. And you can also see Kume. Hi, Kume. I know. You like this toy, but it's my toy. Now, what you're going to do, starting off, I want you to put it on the ground and remove any objects from the floor that could potentially get struck while you're going. So you have a nice clear floor. Now, taking your right foot, put it out in front and put the ball of your foot on the balance point of your staff, where that little black tape mark is. What we're going to do is roll back to our toes and up to our ball. Back to the toe, up to the ball. And just kind of give it a little roll. Feel the stick rolling on the ground. Easy enough. Now, at the end of the roll, as we draw it back, at this point, I want you to go ahead and take your toes and remove them. The staff should continue to roll. So I can drag and have it chase me. I'm going to step to the other side, make it chase you. Other side, I'll kind of switch my feet as I do this. Right foot, left foot. Right foot, left foot. Now, now see what happened here? It rolled onto my foot. This is what we want to get to. To have it do that, go ahead and replace it and pick whichever foot you'd like. Now, I'm right hand dominant. I tend to be more right foot dominant, so I like to use my right foot for this. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to continue to mirror, so I'm going to be using my left foot today. But you should be ambidextrous, or work towards being ambidextrous, meaning being good on both sides. Anything you do on your right, you need to practice 2-3 times as often on your left, so it is just as strong. And that is what I do with my left, but even with that, it's never going to be as strong as your dominant side. But it's important to practice it as often as possible. Now, getting back to it, when I roll back and my toe leaves, I'm not going to pull my foot all the way. Instead, I'm going to drop my toe straight down to the floor. Now, this angle, it's hard to see, but I have an angle on my foot. Let's change that angle. So now when I draw back, see how my toes are pointed to the floor? This is creating a ramp on my foot. That way, that energy that I gave to the stick to make it roll can now roll and hit that ramp to slide up my foot. Let's try that. Placing your foot, as soon as you pop it off, push your toes on the ground and have it roll up your ramp. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You shouldn't have to push it back down. Gravity should take it for you. Up and down, up and down. Excellent. Keep playing with it. Now, once you get to a point where you feel good about it rolling up and down, what you're going to do is catch it. To catch it, all that's going to happen is once it hits up on your foot and you can feel it on your instep right up here, you're going to flick your heel down, toes up. This creates a wedge that'll catch it. So we can draw back, wedge up, and now my staff is on my foot. Roll it back, create the ramp, draw the wedge. And now we have the catch. Let's go ahead and practice that a couple times. Roll back, lift the toes. Roll back to the foot, lift the toes. Roll and lift. Roll and lift. Now you want to try and aim for that center of balance. If you shoot off on one side, that's all right. You're going to find if your foot's over off center, it is going to be harder to get that roll, as the other side of the staff isn't going to want to move. It's not to say it's not possible. It's just a little trickier. It doesn't like to cooperate as much. Versus if you're in the middle, it tends to work much smoother. All right, last part. Now for this one, if you haven't been able to get the trick of catching it on your foot yet, that's okay. Because the big part, and this is the part that makes it look coolest, is the flick. Go ahead, take the staff and put it on your foot, toes up to create your wedge. So right now I've got my toes up in the air, I place it on top, and we're set to go. From a standing position, I'm going to lift my knee like I'm going to throw a front kick, and just bring it up to my hand. Put it back down, lift to your hand. So we're not bowing down, we're lifting it up. At the same time, if we're off center, well, that's fine, because now I have it. Either way, I'm looking to pull it up. Now putting it all together is where the real fun part comes in, because there you can be in a fight with somebody, get your foot on your staff, and without having to bend down and expose your face, you can bring it up to your hands and start using it again. Go ahead and play with this a couple times. Roll back to the wedge, draw to the hook, lift to the grab. Then redrop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with practice, you won't even have to pull your knee up all the way. You'll be able to pull up just enough to make it bounce and catch it. Now obviously here I bend down, I didn't give enough flick. So I gotta really pop it into my chest, because what I'm doing is throwing from my foot up into the sky. If you're on your balance point, it makes it much easier to throw. If you're not on your balance point and you try and toss it up, it's going to go that way. It's going to go to the side that's weighted down to the ground still, and you don't get the catch. So this is why at the start I said practice on the center line, because I allow the whole staff to lift up as one. All right. Now, this covers our staff work for today. Let's go ahead and bring the camera up a little bit so you guys can see me better without having to crouch down all the time. I think I still need to crouch. Oh well. It lets me get a little closer. So, I hope this was educational and it moved at a little better pace for everybody. Again, if you're watching this in the future, just go back, replay the sections that you need help on. We also have a whole file here on the channel under our weapons tab for this, for the Joe, where I go over a lot of these same drills and others. Feel free to check those out, play with them. Right now, with everyone being at home, you've got all the time in the world to play with this stuff, pick up a new trade, trick, art form. Let yourself the opportunity to express and find these new things. I learned the staff both by working with instructors, but a lot of it came from self-education, just going outside, picking it up, and screwing around with it, letting it fly, letting it go, having it go fleeing 10 feet away from me, hitting myself in the ankles a lot. But every time you hit yourself, you learn how to not hit yourself. You don't do that thing you just did because it didn't work. That's what failure is. So have fun, play with it, playful with it in a safe and conscientious way, and you'll pick it up in no time. All right, that being said, this is basic class, so we have a couple minutes left. Let's finish out with a little bit of our katas. Running katas every day is awesome. So we'll cool down with, if you got an itch, if you got a knee, and using mirroring, I'm going to reflect your angles in reverse for the kata. So, right side, left side. Okay? If you got an itch, yo. Up, dropping towards your left to block. Up, step through to punch. Up, right foot steps back to turn and block. Up, step through with your left to punch. Left foot then going to step down the line towards your left side to the block. Then 3 punches. 1, 2, 3. Left foot's going to step behind towards your right side. And then spin following that left foot all the way around to face that corner. Draw up to the high block. Look to your left side, step out to that side, and block low. This means I'm facing the corner of my room. Draw up with the right to block. Or your left, so I'm reverse. Left foot steps over to the wall behind you, and then punch with the right. 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Left foot is going to step behind us towards my right side into the block. Draw up to a high Jodansuke. Left foot will go to my left side towards that corner of the room. Draw up for another Jodansuke for drawing the left hand back into yoi and bow. So, I hope this mirroring works for you. And a lot of my words have been corresponding with the correct angles. Thinking in reverse and backwards at the same time is a little funky. Katas are designed to run one way. So, do your best, follow along as directed. All right, one more. We said we're going to do if you got a knee, so let's play with it. If you got a knee, yo. Stepping out with your right foot, turn to your left to block high, step through to punch. Take that same right foot from before, draw it back onto the line, inside block, roll to a hammer. This is your left hand. Draw up, pulling your left foot up behind to high block with the right, step through with the left to punch high before that left foot returns back behind and low block on the right. Left foot now going to step up and through for a chest block, followed by your right foot. Then your left foot kicks before the stomp. Left elbow rises up, right hand punches low, left hand blocks low, right hand punches middle. We're then going to stand up to our left foot, turning to our right side, and chop back with the right hand. Step through with your left foot into one block, kick with the right leg, stomp down. Now at this point, you should be facing away from me in the camera. Right elbow shoots up, left punches down, right blocks down, left punches middle. Step up with your right foot to turn towards your left. Left hand chops back behind, facing toward the camera. Left foot is then going to step behind into Zenkutsu. Right hand folds under the chest block, draw, double punch. Bring your feet together. Left hand, swoops under to block before drawing in. and another double punch. Back to Yoi, and bow. Don't forget a knee. Again, practice your katas regularly, practice them diligently. This is the core of what we do. So make sure your stances are done the way your instructors expect, your strikes are performed in the areas that they need to be, and ultimately just do your best. Martial arts is not a race, it's a marathon, which means your time, this is going to take time to get there, to gain the proficiencies, to gain the masteries for these forms. Shorin-ryu, the specific style of karate that we study here, is complicated. It's deep. There's a lot to it. And this is why it takes years and years to master. So don't beat yourself up if you're not able to run this perfectly now. I couldn't now. When I was first starting out, it took me almost a year to get Fugata Itch and be able to test for my yellow belt. And that's not uncommon. For many schools, especially if you go into Japan, you're looking at 1 year per belt. You spend 1 year learning a kata before you can test and move on. So, patience. We take tests every 4 months here, or at least you're eligible to. Doesn't mean you'll pass, doesn't mean you'll be ready. It just means I offer it. As there are some students that train harder, more diligently, and sometimes it just clicks. I have absolutely seen students gain a belt and in 4 months move on to the next one. It clicked, they got that kata, it was no problem, and they moved on. But then they spent 2 years at the next level. So, have patience, have diligence, and just keep trying. Let your failures tell you what you need to do. Don't let your failures tell you to stop what you're doing. All right. Until next time, kyatsuke. Arigatou gozaimasu. Basic is dismissed. I'll see you in the next one. Now, for my intermediate level students, I will give you a warning now. Last night, we did have, as many of you probably know if you're in the Cincinnati area, we had a big storm, major thunderstorm with some tornadoes that came down. At the moment, I'm looking out the windows. The wind is picking up again. I haven't heard anything about weather, but our lights are flickering. I'm not sure if you guys saw it in the video, but some of these lights did flicker a moment ago. So if the stream drops, it may be because of another storm coming in and we just lost connection because of the weather. If that happens, I apologize. There's not much that we can do on this side. Mother Nature has a mind and will of her own. So keep up the best you can. We'll keep working and we'll jump into it. All right. Now I'm going to take a quick drink of water as talking just dry the throat a bit. Now, do recycle if you are stuck using plastic as we are. Unfortunately, our water filtration systems aren't operating. I usually go somewhere to fill up large jugs for our house water, for our drinking water, but because of the outbreak, they shut those down and we are resorting to plastic again, which is not ideal, but do your best to recycle, think about nature, and not overdoing it on trash. All right, all that being said, let's get into our intermediate workout today. On Tuesday, we took a look at throwing some combination kicks, throwing a series of defensive dodges into kick combinations, as well as our katas, Pinaniran and Pinan Shodan, focusing primarily on flowing into these motions using the balls of our feet to pop the strikes, especially with the knife hands, getting our set and strike. We're going to continue to review that today. As always, if you have questions on anything, feel free to take a moment, step over, type it in. I will see it. There is a feed on the computer here, I can see your comments in real time. If you're seeing this future, I get notifications. I will answer them as soon as possible. So do fill out that comment list, because this is the best way to communicate with me during these lessons. All right, let's get it warmed up. Run in place, knees up. Focus on your breathing and pushing off your toes. Good. Leg jog. Side steps. Feet together, feet apart. Think Shikarachi. You can throw your guard into this as well. Keep your guard facing the center. Speed it up. And shake it out. All right. Feet shoulder width. And touch the floor. Hips. Knee. Sun. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. X. Crisscross. Think of it like you're grabbing a post and keeping that hand there as you reach over. Itch. Knee. Sun. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. And rock side to side. Toes up. Good. Drop the knee. Rock it forward. Switch. Now, staying low, we're going to switch back and forth, lifting the knee to Shikarachi, dropping to a running stance. Now, running stance does not have our knee touch the ground, so we're going to hover 1 to 2 inches to trade side to side. Hitch, knee, sun, shi, go, roku, sichi, hachi, ku, ju. Shake it out. And stretching the sides. Cross your, for mirroring, right side over to the left. Then stretch the left hip, reaching the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right switch. Left foot coming over, sort of side by side, so my toes are in alignment here. This forces my back knee back, and hitch, Sun, Shi, go. Suchi, Uchi, Ju. All right. And go ahead and rub the knees. Shake the thighs. Bounce it out. All right, let's put some combinations in. Now at this point, I'd like you to go ahead, write in what you would like to see. Is there a combination you would like to be put in today? I'm going to give about 5-10 seconds for you to come on, think of it up, write it in, and we'll add it in today's routine. If I don't see anything there, we'll just go with whatever comes to mind. I have plenty that I can come up with, but I want to see what you've got. So, go take a moment, fill that in, we'll see what you can think. What do you got? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So, no suggestions. That's all right. See, we have a couple of you watching, so I know you're sitting there. But if you can't think of anything, that's quite all right. I want you to start playing with the idea of, what can I combine? If you're not sure, pick out something that you've done before. But never feel afraid or ashamed or reserved to not throw it out there, especially if you're asked to. When your instructor asks you to put something out, that's a good thing. What we're doing is trying to see where your mindset is. So, there's no such thing as wrong answer. There's only ways to access your instructor's knowledge. Because if you put something up and your instructor says, all right, let's do that, but we're going to switch it up to this. That means you had a good idea, but it was missing a key element, some little part or piece that you just didn't realize was there. So don't be ashamed to put something out and have it shot down. You could even say, I've had students in the past tell me, well, let's do like a round kick into an axe kick. Cool. Round kick, axe kick. That's a combo, but in that routine, the flow doesn't move quite right because the round kick is spinning here. It's coming around the body, and axe kick is coming down from the body. So the best we can do is sort of swing, loop, and down. But even then, the axe kick, the pivots on the hips, the body doesn't like to move that way. However, axe kick up into round kick, there's another story. Let's play with those two ideas, because this is one that I've heard in the past. What I can do is try out a couple of round kicks, Mawashi Geri, and then from that extension, flick it up into an axe. See if you can get flow and energy through those. Up. Let's try the other side. Maybe the other side will work better. That doesn't feel right. How's it feel for you? Now, what I'm feeling is after that round kick, I've got a pinch in my hips. When I try and turn back around, my hips feel like they're seizing up. They're getting locked in place. This is normal because the reason the axe kick works the way it does is that lift is coming from momentum. If my foot is already up in the air from my round kick, I have no momentum to pull it up more. Instead, I have to use muscle strength, meaning I've got to take this muscle to lift my foot up even higher than it wants to be before I pivot, trying to keep my foot up in the air before dropping it down. The muscles are too tense and they're locking up. They don't want to move that way. However, now let's reverse it. Start with your axe kick and see if you can swing it to a round kick. Up. 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 Try the other side. Up. that feel? Much smoother. The reason for that smoothness are the chambers. On the axe kick, after we draw it down, we pull to a square chamber. Square chamber is the universal start position for nearly every kick that we have. So as soon as we see this, that means I can do anything. I can go round kick, side kick, axe kick, hook kick, back kick. I can throw any kick into my arsenal from here. This is why square chamber is so important and why it's taught immediately as white belt. So after our axe kick, we've come to a universal starting point, which means I can just pivot and have my round kick flick out smoothly. These are the connections we look for when picking out what kicks work with which ones. Ultimately, if you have to force the connection, it's not working. It should move naturally and comfortably. That doesn't mean it's coming out quickly. Doesn't mean that it's coming out powerfully. It means that it's coming out smoothly and comfortably. Once you have those things, it's just about strength and flexibility. The stronger you get, the more flexible you get, the faster and more powerful those combinations are going to be. So when you're looking at combinations, again, think comfort and flow, not power and speed. Comfort and flow are what allow power and speed to come out effectively without you creating self-harm. All right, let's take another combination. One that I like to use a lot is the round kick into hook kick, sort of round to hook. Now this creates a nice flow because they're both moving the same direction. My round kick can swing out, drop. My body can continue to turn for the hook kick to swing out. But what happens if we reverse it? Can we go hook into round? Well, let's find out. Now in this case, if we're throwing a hook kick first, we're not going to start it with a spin because we never want to start an attack by exposing our back to our opponent. The only reason why it works the first time is my round kick missed. They ducked under it, they dodged back and deflected it, and that's caused me to turn. I'm using this as a point for the hook because it's a smooth action to get me back to facing them. For the reverse though, hook to round, I don't want to spin on them, so I got to do this from a standing position. I'll take my back foot, hook kick, and see if I can go into round from there. Let's play with it. Ready? Up. 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 Oh, how's that feel for you? Switch sides. Up. Up. Hey. Oh, that feels pretty good to me. So why would those two kicks work well together? Well, just like with the first one, they work off the same rotations. If we think of the axe and round, the reason why round kick to axe kick didn't work is because round kick's trying to move this way. Axe kick is trying to move this way, which means we're getting two very different rotations, different sets of momentum and kinetic energy that we're trying to adjust for. The reason the axe to round work is we have a center point to reset the energy. Instead of having one energy flow to the next, we're having it flow to a universal start point and then continue the flow to the next. Hook and round, same rotation energy, which means we can do these back to back all day long. Now, let's pick another combination that uses that similar, same direction. In this case, let's play with axe kick and back kick. Now, an initial axe kick, we'd come up, drag down, then axe kick or back kick, push it straight behind. Let's play with that. Ready? Up. Up. Axe chamber. Draw to back. Up. Break this board. Whack. Push to that board. Whack. Other side. Up. 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 Feels pretty smooth. Now what if we reversed it and did back kick to axe kick? Up. 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 Switch. Up. Ah, that was a little funky. I didn't do that one right. Up. Up. I don't know, that one feels pretty good too. The reason being, after one kick ends, and we're drawing it back to its chamber, we're doing its retrieval stage. That retrieval is moving in the direction the next kick wants. In the case of axe to back, as my axe kick comes around, it pulls down into my universal chamber. That chamber continues the energy. If you follow my ankle, you'll see how it's moving immediately as it draws back into the extension the next. For the back to axe, we're pushing out to back. My retrieval brings me in, which I can simply continue moving forward and around to the axe. So now it's not even so much that we're looking at the momentum of the full technique as we did with round and hook kick, but rather where the momentum is coming for our retrieval stage of one kick to continue that direction of energy into the next one. Now, I'm not sure if, I hope the beeps aren't too distracting for people. I know I hear them pretty good here. I think we need to change the batteries in our fire alarms. Luckily, we do have some. I just got to change those tonight. But that's what that beeping is. Very sorry. I just started not too long ago. But let's continue on. So let's pick out one more. Again, if you have a suggestion, please write it in. I'll give you a moment. All right. Now, if there's no suggestions, that's all right. Yeah, I don't want you to be bashful here. It's fine to not know what to say or be uncomfortable saying it. That's where comfort's going to come with time. So shoot me a message in private if you don't want your name listed there. Maybe you just don't have the capability. If you're on a tablet, you don't have a keyboard readily at hand. We'll pick out one more. And for this, let's go. Let's see, what's one we haven't done yet? We haven't played with side kick yet. And we haven't played with, we haven't played with front kick yet. So how can we put a front kick and a side kick together? Well, let's take a look. With front kick, we're coming straight up and out and then pivoting to our side. Now this is to say I'm attacking the same opponent. Maybe I'm trying to attack two. I have one person here and one person here. So I'm squaring off against this guy and somebody else is coming in. So I could absolutely throw 1, 2, push him away, push her away to attack these two angles. Let's play with it. Right leg, up, up, up. Hey, feels pretty good. Let's try the other side. Up, up, up. Hey, that feels pretty good. Let's reverse it. Side to front. Maybe if we add the pivot, maybe the pivotal is what's gonna kind of mess with it. Up. Up. I don't know. Let's try the other foot. Maybe it'll feel different. We're doing our south side. Hup. 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 Now that still feels pretty good. Again, with side and round, even though they're pushing to different directions, side kick and round kick are thrusting motions, which means they're both coming from the center of our bodies and then pushing outwards. So, because the retrieval of front kick pulls to a square chamber, we can then lift that to push to side. Same with side kick. As that draws back, it's going to draw to that square chamber to allow us to push for a front kick. Momentum and kinetic energy, both for the full motion of the kick to allow a quick rotation into another one, as well as the extension and then retrieval, the retrieval kinetic energy to flow into another kick. These are the key points that we want for any type of combination of strikes. If they don't have that fluidity, or one kick is trying to move in a direction that the other one hasn't permitted, it's not likely to be as smooth as you would hope. So certain kicks work beautifully together, but not always if they're reversed, and sometimes kicks just don't like each other. Although, I don't think I've ever found that. Typically, at least in my experience, I haven't found any set of two kicks that have paired together at least one way, if not the other. Let me know what you think. I'll play with it and let you know how it worked out. If I was able to make it work, or if you found something that I just hadn't discovered. All right. Let's go ahead and bow there for water. Take a little break, relax, limber up. Then we'll come back into kata. All right. Feeling hydrated, feeling good? Let's bring it on in. That's it, right? Yes, must. All right. Now, Tuesday, we talked about cat stance and how we can use the stance using the flick of the hips to drop our weight into position in combination with our setups and then delivery on the strike. So let's do a quick review of the hand positions. In a high knife, my rear hand is placed, let's get out of the shade here. Got a big glare from the window there. So, backhand sets thumb to my thigh, and it will draw up, keeping the elbow in place till I meet the center point of my body, the solar plex, and that's when I will turn my wrist over to flick, drawing up and flicking at the end. So let that swing a few times. Itch, knee, sun, chi, go, broken, stitching, punch, coup, ju, other side, itch, knee, sun, chi, go, broken, stitching, punch, coup, ju. Let's do a little bit more on this side since the first one got it some extra time. Itch, knee, sun, chi, go, broken, stitching, punch, coup, ju. Ultimately, if you're grabbing your belt in your uniform like this, that means you're doing it just right, because you should be tight to the body and kind of scoop this to then hold it at the end, pinching your body, both wrist and shoulder, or elbow, shoulders up here. All right, for my lead hand, this one's going to draw across the body, sort of palm in towards the cheek, about 1 inch off before then drawing out till the elbow is in line with the target, and then the wrist turns at the end. In to out. Let's go. Ich, ni, san, shi. Go. Roku. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ji. Other side. Palm towards your cheek. Ich, ni, san, shi. Go. Roku. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ji. Now that extension should be elbow is 1 fist. You take a fist, it should fit between your elbow and your rib cage. Arm, elbow is bent at a 90-degree angle, and your hand isn't totally straight. It's turned out just a little bit, about 45 degrees here. So you're just showing the palm, not flat, not sideways, but angled just so. It's going to look a lot like your chest block, only with the palms turned into each other and then out slightly, as though if you extended fully, they would meet. It's your high knife. All right, let's put the backhand and lead hand together, starting with our right side, drawing it back, thumb to the thigh, palm to the cheek, ich, ni, san, shi. See if you can get them timed at the same moment. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Other side. Thumb to thigh. Cheek to palm. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roko. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. All right. Putting it with our stances now. Cat stance. Nikashinashi, left foot forward, left hand up. Think feet first. I'm going to drop my heel. Step in as I'm stepping through. I'm going to draw the hands to those chambers. Then as I set my hip down, I'll throw my strike. Heel, step to draw, pop to extend. Heel, step and draw, pop and strike. Heel, step, draw, sit, strike. Moate, shifting weight. As we shift, we draw to pop. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. All right, shake it out. And next, the low hands. For low hands, what we're really kind of looking at is setting up a low block, that low block chamber. Only my lead or my back hand, which is on the bottom, is gonna, well, they both open up shuto, but the bottom is gonna turn out slightly. So my palm heel is exposed. Now, I'm angling my wrist just a hair here. That way my palm heel is pushed out. This allows me to kind of push it down to maybe catch a knee. If someone's lifting up to throw a front kick, you can drive in your palm heel to push that knee back down to ensure that their extension can't come up to strike, push you in the thigh, or push you into the stomach, as well as pressing down so that their extension doesn't draw far enough into the groin for a below the belt kick. Now, if they're going lower than that to strike your knee or your shin, this isn't going to work for that. But ultimately, if you're in a solid fighting stance, front knee bent, they want to kick your knee, by all means. That is a bony protrusion and ain't going anywhere. This is why we always sit with the knee bent. If you're standing straight with the knee straight, you're asking them to break your knee. Don't do this. Never do this. But getting back to the lesson in hand. As we step out, I'm going to drop that hand low. Back hand's up, palm towards my face. It's going to slide down when my wrists meet. I slide on the back of my thumb, so the back of my hand here, not the hook of my thumb here. Back hand is soft, smooth. Thumb side has a catch. So don't throw that. Oh, what is this? My battery's low? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Excuse me, one moment. I'm going to mess this up. Looks like the cats ran over and they knocked the power out of the computer. Therefore, the webcam is about to die. My apologies. I didn't even see them do that. Knock the charger clean off. Ugh. There we go. Sorry about that. Well, that wasn't too much of a shovel. Let's go back to it. So, sliding down and draw. Lead hand's going to extend just like a low block, kind of like the high chest block. Backhand, however, is going to pull wrist into the belt knot, elbow tight to the body to hit and draw. When I switch, my lead hand is going to draw out like I'm drawing a little circle. So I step, circle out to in, as though I'm guiding something. Think of it as someone's throwing an uppercut, and I'm just going to, shoot. Oh, you go over here. You want to punch here? I'm going to put you over there. Reach out and draw. All right. Let's try to row those. Left hand and foot. Up. Heel down. Step. Set. Pop. And drop. Heel. Step. Pop. And drop. All right. And shake it out. How's our time? All right. Now let's put this into our forms. Starting with Pinanidan. Pinanidan. Go. Up. Right. Now I'm going to go south side for this using mirroring. So you continue to do as you need, but I'm going to be a reflection of you for the camera. Pinanidan. Up. 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 Hey. Great. And we're back. With Chinaman experience, I would recommend if you've been running a kata for at least 2 years. So let's say this is a kata you learned maybe 2 belts ago. That's when I would recommend, or I would say it's okay to start playing with it on the sort of reverse side. You want to make sure that the side that you're showing your kata, all our katas are shown to start in one direction. This is so that when we run these as a group, as a studio, with partners, when we're playing bunkai, everyone understands where we are, what we're doing, and your instructor who's walking around the room and evaluating can say, all right, you adjust here, you adjust there, and your juniors can look to their seniors to see, all right, what am I doing, and can I be like them? So we have that uniformity for a reason. But as you've been doing a kata for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years plus, you might want to mix it up. And by doing it on the south side, mirroring, this gives your body some muscle confusion. So especially for instructors out there who may be watching this, and if you are an instructor out there watching this, then thank you. I'm honored to have you join us. By switching it over to that south side, you'll get a new appreciation for what your students are even going through. Because as an instructor, you may not have practiced on your south side very much, and this will give you that exposure. If you've been practicing, if you're still a student, and you want to, you're feeling real good about a kata, you're not getting corrections or mistakes on it anymore, flip it. Don't do it backwards. Never run a kata backwards. I can tell you from personal experience that that is a bad idea. But running it in reverse, don't step to the left, step to the right. That's going to mix it up on you. But of course, if you're just learning it, if you're starting out, you've only had this kata for a year or two, do not reverse it. I want you to learn it strong on the side that it's shown first before you start messing with it. Sound good? All right. Let's go again. I'm on mirror. Pinan niran. Yo. Up. 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 Hey. Up. 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 Hey. Up. 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 Hey. Hey. Great. All right. Feeling pretty good? Well, let's move on to the next. I think we're getting close to time. We may actually call this class a little short today, because we got through a lot. Pinan Shodan. For this one, I will not be mirroring. I'm going to run standard. I'll run mirror in the next. Up. Up. Hey. Up. Hey. Up. Up. Remember how we talked about those knives. Hey. Up. Step. Set. Pop into the hip. Up. 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 Hey. Up. Hey. Up. Hey. Up. Hey. 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 All right. On my mirror, continue to run standard. Pinan Shodan. Up. Hey. Up. Hey. Up. Hey. Up. Up. Hey. 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 All right, not bad. Go ahead and relax. Ultimately, I want you to ask me questions. As a coach, I can only do so much in these sort of tutorials and talking about what to do, showing how to do it, but it's hard to give feedback if you're not speaking back. So please comment with questions if anything's uncertain, and sign up for our Skype lessons. Stuff I mentioned in our last class. We are doing Skype lessons now. So you can contact me through message at tcisco@cincymartialarts.com. That is our email. I will get your information and we can set up a Skype call at the earliest convenience. For our members, this is absolutely free. I will be setting up one call a week with every one of you, as long as you opt into it. I've got to talk to you first so we can set up a time to make the call. If you are not part of the studio and you've been watching these and you want to learn more, please let me know. Send me a message just the same. And we will definitely talk about how that would work if you're not a member. We'll talk about some sort of billing or a one-time thing, or just start talking to me and we will work that out. The Skype calls are fresh, new as of this week, as of recording this video. So it is set up for our members first, but if you are learning, if you want to learn more, I would consider you a student. And the only difference between a student and a member is unfortunately cash. You gotta pay the bills, gotta keep the lights on. If I could do this for free, I absolutely would. That's why my dad plays the lottery, because I get half. So please send me a message, let me know, give me your thoughts, give me your questions. I live for this, I live for that, I live for you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll call it a little early today. Thank you for joining me. Arigato gozaimasu. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, boink.